Most people spend a large portion of their life thinking about the things they want to create. Then they spend another large portion working hard to reach their goals, desires, and visions. While there's nothing wrong with this approach, when you create from the space and time as a body in the 3D world, you are matter trying to change matter. And according to Newtonian law, it's going to take time. But as many of us in this work have come to know, we're more than just matter. While the body as matter is the vehicle which enables us to operate in this 3D realm, there is a greater part of ourselves that is connected to a field of information beyond this realm. In this quantum realm, a realm that exists beyond space and time, there is no separation, and everything material is interconnected in oneness. Back here on Earth, however, within the confines of this 3D reality, we experience events or moments as separate things because our senses, the very thing that plugs us into this 3D reality, fool us into believing so. In order to create from this unknown field, we have to get to a place where we disassociate from everything that is known. To do this, we have to become no body, no one, no thing, nowhere. In no time, for it's in this place where we become pure consciousness. That's why the meditations we do have a specific design to disconnect us from our outer worlds, our bodies, and our environment in linear time long enough to enter into this field of information. The type of teachings I'm after are based on practical approaches to living a better life. The majority of people in our work strive to apply these principles so they can realize their dreams, visions, and enrich their lives and those around them, and have their dreams be drawn to them. In teaching this work all over the world, however, I've witnessed a percentage of people who use some of the principles to conveniently serve them so as to escape from the real world because they don't want to actually face off with the obstacles with which life has challenged them to grow and evolve. Instead, the easier way is to simply mold or construct what they perceive as a philosophical truth based on the teachings. This gives them an excuse to not confront the real everyday challenges in their life. That's not to say the challenge we most often see in this work is people getting frustrated, angry, and impatient because their life is not shifting fast enough. As a result, they start fighting, pushing, and forcing outcomes because they don't yet have the patience or skills to be able to connect to and create from the field. This is because they're still the same body trying to change their body, the same personality trying to change their personal reality, or they're expecting a different future despite living in the same predictable future. As a result, they try to control or force outcomes, or they escape confronting themselves by applying spiritual or philosophical principles that somehow serve them. In short, they become delusional to the effect that they manipulate the teachings to serve them. Instead, they may say something like, I had a vision and this is the way it is, or I had this download which connects me to this outcome. But the reality is they didn't actually receive a download. They're just creatively coming up with an idea and seeing it as a truth because they don't yet have the ability or the skills to really be able to execute effectively from the field. They can espouse all these principles and all these philosophies to escape from the real challenges that are taking place in their lives, but it won't make their lives any better. This is when students can become fanatical and overzealous about the philosophy, however, not engaged in true practical change or creation. We don't need any more philosophers. The world is already full of them. What we need is more folks being the living example of truth. That's when we embody the philosophy by overcoming our bodies, our environment, and time. That's how we master ourselves and our lives. As I mentioned, to some degree or another, we regularly see a small percentage of people manipulating or misrepresenting the teachings. Well, of course, it's not something they are necessarily doing consciously. It's still unfortunate because I see them influence people around them into false understandings regarding the message of my work. I've witnessed these people making prophecies and predictions or doing readings for others, and yet the truth of the matter is they're not actually doing the work because they think they're already there. But chances are many of them are not. My work is about creating a better life. So it's important to examine the person's life who may be making these prophecies and predictions to see if they're actually practicing what they preach. The reason why I feel they are doing this is because they're not grounded in the proper feedback system of our 3D reality, a system that exists to show us that our thoughts really are affecting a cause or an outcome. And I'm not just talking about finding a penny on the ground to symbolize one's abundance or hearing a song on the radio that symbolizes whatever they were thinking as the truth. Those are early signs and synchronicities for a beginner. What I'm talking about is the real feedback where things are unfolding and changing in someone's life and reality in accordance to where they are placing their attention and energy. When you're doing the work and things that once lived in your internal reality begin to appear in your external reality, you take notice. And the more this happens, the more you really start to pay attention to what you really start to pay attention to what you did in your inner world of thoughts and feelings to produce the outcome. This is the practice, and this is the healthy way to create a particular reality. The work then becomes learning how to surrender to outcomes, learning how to stay in and be uncomfortable in the unknown without returning back to familiar thoughts, emotions, or behaviors, learning how to regulate brain and heart coherence so we can maintain our energy in adverse or challenging circumstances, learning how to correlate the inward changes we make in our thoughts, behaviors, and feelings, personality, in order to see outcomes in our outer world personal reality so that we move from the subconscious belief that we are victims of our lives to the conscious belief that we are victims of our lives to the conscious belief that we are the creator of our lives. The secret ingredient to this process is to make the feedback in our outer world more consistent. That's what we're working towards. And that's why meditation is a daily practice. To create something in our life, there must be a consistent vibrational match between our energy and the life we are envisioning, between our inner and outer world. And this requires persistence, determination, and focus. Being grounded in the information contained in this work means there's going to be times where you have to get off the couch and literally do matter to matter things because we still live in the realm of 3D reality. But when we properly create from the quantum realm of interconnectedness, from the infinite field where all possibilities exist, we start to see minor shifts in our life. It's those shifts that are the signs to make us want to revisit that invisible field of unifying energy again and again. When we become so familiar with that energy, so familiar with the thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that create a new personality, we can tangibly see that what we are doing internally is being reflected in our new personal reality. This is when our paradigm changes from cause and effect to causing an effect. Many people can go around thinking positively and living under the guise that they are the center of the universe. They can believe that everything is happening according to their limited understanding, even though their life isn't working. But the truth is, they have to first move into the unknown, get beyond the memory of themselves as a personality, and then connect to a new future. When done properly and with consistency, the side effect is that changes in their life start unfolding. Those materializations in their personal reality may happen very incrementally, and sometimes they won't even notice them in the moment they are happening. But then one day they wake up and realize that their new personality has created a new personal reality, that they have become someone else. This is the metamorphosis. This is transformation. It makes sense then that the person who thinks they know everyone's future and are acting as that personality hasn't gotten beyond their identity. That's not to say that our community does not have downloads or impressions from the field about friends and loved ones that may help them, but that case is more of an incident than constant counsel of recognition, attention, and aggrandizement in order to reinforce that type of personality. The true student doing this work is practical. They are pragmatists who are learning the philosophical information, initiating that philosophy by embodying it, then mastering the philosophy, which is achieved by moving into a new state of being. The more natural this process becomes, the more we can learn to master this 3D reality. This is how the true masters throughout history became masters. They stopped talking about philosophy and just became it. and they knew when to step in and intervene in another person's world and when not to.